Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining Sunday Srimad Bhagavatam session. While other devotees are joining, we'll start slowly with Jai Radha Madhav. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Prabhu. Let's start with Mangalacharan prayers. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, hope you can see my screen, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, can see.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, before we begin our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, we first recite the Mangalacharan prayers or auspicious invocations. These prayers are not just a tradition or a formality, they're a conscious act of connecting ourselves with our worshipable deity, our Guru Parampara, and the sacred purpose of the discussion. These are the same slides, what I'm presenting right now. We have been reading during our Friday and Saturday Bhagavatam reading groups. The beautiful insight into the meaning of what is Mangalacharan is explained by Srila Prabhupada and was shared with us by His Grace Jai Sachinandan Prabhu. I'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Shunvatam Swakada Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastu Abhadrani Vidunoti Shuhrasatam Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you once again for joining today's Sunday Srimad Bhagavatam session. We'll start with today's words, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse number 5. Arjuna Uvacha Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina Bandhurupina Yename Pahratam Tejo Deva Vismapanam Mahat. Arjuna Uvacha Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina Bandhurupina Yename Pahratam Tejo Deva Vismapanam Mahat. Arjuna Uvacha Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina Bandhurupina Ename Parhatam Tejo Deva Vismapanam Mahat. Does any devotee want to recite?
Prabhu.
Yes.
Arjuna Uvacha Vanchitoham Maharaja हरिणा बन्धुरूपिणा येन मे पाहृतं तेजो देवविस्मापनं महत्। Thank you.
Hare
Anybody?
Krishna Prabhu. Arjuna Uvacha Utinoham Maharaja Harina Bandhu Rupini Yename Puratam Tejo Deva Deva Vismapana Mahat. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Any other devotees?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
अर्जुन उवाच वाञ्छितोऽहं महाराज हरिणा बन्धुरूपिणा येन मे पहृतं तेजो देवविस्पापनं महत्। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can try Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Mataji.
Arjuna Uvacha Vanchitoham Maharaja Harinam Bandhurupina Yena me Prahritam Tejo Deva Vishwapanam Mahat. Hare Krishna, thank you Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Arjunuvacha Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina Bandhurupiణ Yena me pahritam tejo deva vismapanam mahat.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Arjuna Vacha Vanchito Aham Maharaja Harina Bandhu Rupina Yenamam Bharatam Tejo Deva Vishma Apana Mahat. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay. If no other devotees are willing, we'll move on to the translational purport. Translational purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Arjuna said, O King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 10:41, the Lord says, anyone specifically powerful and opulent in wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge, and all that is materially desirable is to be considered but a product of an insignificant portion of the complete whole of my energy. No one, therefore, can be independently powerful in any measure without being endowed by the Lord. When the Lord descends to the earth along with his eternal, ever liberated associates, he not only displays the divine energy possessed by himself, but also empowers his associate devotees with the required energy to execute his mission of incarnation. It is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.5 that the Lord and his eternal associates descend to the earth many times, but the Lord remembers all the different roles of incarnations, whereas the associates, by his supreme will, forget them. Similarly, the Lord takes away with him all his associates when he disappears from the earth. The power and energy which were bestowed upon Krishna were required for fulfillment of the mission of the Lord. But when his mission was fulfilled, the emergency powers were withdrawn from Arjuna, because the astounding powers of Arjuna, which were astonishing even to the denizens of heaven, were no longer required. And they were not meant for going back home, back to Godhead. If endowment of powers and withdrawal of powers by the Lord are possible even for a great devotee like Arjuna, or even the demigods in heaven, then what to speak of the ordinary living beings who are but figs compared to such great souls? The lesson is, therefore, that no one should be puffed up for his powers borrowed from the Lord. The sane man should rather feel obliged to the Lord for such benefactions, and must utilize such power for the service of the Lord. Such power can be withdrawn at any time by the Lord, so the best use of such power and opulence is to engage them in the service of the Lord. Translation one more time. Arjuna said, O King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus, my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I feel deeply grateful and humbled to begin the Srimad Bhagavatam Seva. I'm so happy that my journey begins with this profound and beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 5, where Arjuna though once the most powerful archer in the three worlds, expresses his helplessness, emptiness after Krishna's departure, what we have discussed a couple of weeks back in chapter 14. Like Arjuna, I also feel powerless on my own, but with mercy of Krishna, the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, and my compassionate Guru Maharaj, my Siksha Guru, His Grace, Jai Sachinandan Prabhu, and the association of all you wonderful devotees, I'm inspired to make this small and tiny attempt to glorify the Supreme Lord. As it's stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse number 3. Nigama kalpa taror galitam phalam sukamukad amrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavaka. Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. This Bhagavatam is not just a scripture to be studied, it is a rasa, a transcendental taste, which is meant to be drank again and again by those who are thoughtful and seeking the real sweetness of life. And this service is not just a class, it's a sip from the nectarian ocean of Krishna Kada, which purifies both the speaker and the listener. As we dive deep into today's words, which is so deep and beautiful, I'd like to begin with a reflective question. Have you ever had a time in where everything seemed to slip away? It can be your talents, your strength, your confidence, and you wondered what happened? That is the situation of Arjuna in this particular verse. This particular verse talks about his feelings. He's not lamenting for the worldly loss or the loss of the power, but he's feeling the spiritual separation from Krishna. Today, as we hear Krishna's feelings of intense separation from Krishna, we are not just analyzing an historical event, but we are entering into the rasa of loving separation, which is Viraha Bhakti, the highest and the deepest flavor of devotion. In this particular verse, 115.5, as we just discussed in we just read, the three main themes are embedded in this verse. If you carefully watch the line by line, it talks about the Viraha Bhakti, love and separation. Arjuna is lamenting not just the loss of the power, but more deeply the absence of Krishna's personal association. He's personally missing Krishna's personal association. And the source of empowerment. Arjuna, despite being a great warrior, he realizes that his strength was not his own. It was a divine gift. It was gifted by Krishna. And the third and the most important thing Arjuna teaches us through this verse is the humility and dependence on Krishna. Despite being a great warrior, Arjuna humbly accepts that without Krishna, he is powerless. When a great warrior like Arjuna is saying that, who are we? Before explaining this verse, let's discuss some background and recap of what we discussed in chapter 14 and previous verses from chapter 15. Chapter 14 was titled The Disappearance of Krishna, where Maharaj Yudhishthir makes several speculative inquiries, starting with noticing some inauspicious omens. And then the later part of the chapter, he visually sees Arjuna's uh, pale, he's dull, and his condition after returning from the Dwarka. Quickly, we'll do a recap of what was discussed in chapter 14, so that way it will lay some foundation for this particular verse. In the initial part of chapter 14, it's been almost 7 months. Arjuna didn't return. There is a time delay, and there are inauspicious signs across. And he see bad omens everywhere, and he saw some observation of some cosmic and social anomalies. And then he is thinking about that. He's having some doubt about concern over Krishna's departure, as hinted by Narada Muni. And then he remembers remembrance of Krishna's central role, how Krishna helped them in terms of like having a kingdom, like fame, everything was due to Krishna's mercy. And then uh, he observes like animals, and everything is distressed. Even the beauty of the earth is fading. That's when Maharaj Yudhishthira is sensing something is happening. And immediately he sees Arjuna. He's returning from Dwaraka. He's pale. He's tearful, and Yudhishthira he fears the worst. And then he asked several inquiries. Are our relatives and Krishna's associates like Yadus, Balarama, Uddhava, Pradyumna, are everyone doing well? Like he asked for all his relatives, are they doing good in Dwaraka? He asked in detail about each of the relatives, and then personally he asked for Arjuna. Did something happen to you? Why are you so dull? Are you insulted by someone, or did you got defeated, or did you offend someone? He asked like several of these questions towards the end of last chapter. And final and the most painful speculation, as Narottamilas Prabhu last week he mentioned, it's like a nail on the head. The hard truth is that is it the time have you lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? That's when Yudhishthira asks Arjuna that did we lose our intimate friend? After Maharaj Yudhishthira's intense and these deep spiritually speculative inquiries and these heavy questions, Arjuna's unusual behavior is discussed in the previous four verses of this chapter. The Pandavas retired timely. That's when we discussed in the 14th chapter. And in the last four verses, in the last 2 weeks, we discussed, and verse 2, 3, and 4 were discussed by Narottamilas Prabhu in the last week's class. And Yudhishthira has reached that point, asking the ultimate question about Krishna's departure. And then in the first four verses, there is some emotional landscape here, the bodily features. Arjuna is now confirmed by seeing Arjuna. Yudhishthira confirms that he's grief stricken more than the weight of Yudhishthira's questions. He can see that there is some separation from Lord Krishna that shattered Arjuna's heart. And Arjuna is silent, and his sorrow speaks louder than the words. It's like his effulgence got faded. He is holding back his emotions. In the beginning of um, the beginning of heartfelt remembrance and revelation is revealed here. Arjuna remembers Krishna intimately, who is a relative, a charioteer, a benefactor, and a dear friend. And that's when Arjuna starts to speak. That is the words which we just read. Now we'll explore on this theme of who is Arjuna, like what are his powers, like where did he get that powers from, and how did he get that powers from. So as you can see, the key points highlighted in this particular purport, which we'll try to take a deep dive into the words. Now, Arjuna is a star, and but that star is not self-shining, self-glowing, that someone needs to give that. That's where Arjuna admits that. Like, how am I, what my powers are, who gave me those powers? That's when we're going to discuss with an acronym called STAR. Who is the star and who is the power star? Well, here is the revelation. We are all meant to be stars. Every one of us have some unique skills. If I need to reveal the acronym here, every one of us have some skills, talents, abilities, and resources. And these skills or talents or abilities or resources are not self. Like it's not inherent. This can shine only when we are connected to the power star Krishna, the original source of light, power, and glory. That's when Srila Prabhupada quotes or starts this purport with 1041. And just like we see a lot of stars in the sky, just like the stars shine only when energy is burning at their core, we too can glow in service only when the Supreme Lord empowers us. And in this verse, we also discuss about the power is given and the power is withdrawn. So, dear devotees, we live in a world that celebrates stars. It can be movie stars, sports stars, social media stars. But today, we're going to take a deep dive what it truly means to be a star in Krishna consciousness. What makes you a star? What makes us a star? We can remember as we dive deep into it. As you can see on the screen, S stands for skills. Every one of us in this room have some skills. I assume like every one of us. I don't know what skills I have. Whether it can be, some of you might have teaching, organizing, singing, cooking, or problem solving. All these talents are gifts. When we used in the service of the Lord, that's when they shine brilliantly. Even every Sunday, I observe in our temple how each devotee lovingly engages in different services, cooking delicious prasadam, cleaning the temple hall, singing melodious kirtans, or stitching beautiful outfits for the Lord, or sweeping floor with the devotion, preparing thoughtful speeches. Every Sunday we see that, and more. It's a beautiful sight. This is all acts of seva, great service. And Srila Prabhupada often emphasized that Krishna doesn't see the result, but the devotion behind that offering. When one can effectively use their skills in Krishna service, those skills become spiritualized. Just like a iron rod put into a fire becomes red hot, our material abilities become spiritualized when we offer those skills to Krishna with love and intention. Let's think about this. The cook is not just preparing food, they are preparing prasadam for the mercy of the Lord. The singer is not just performing, not just a song, they are awakening souls through the holy name. The person or the devotee who is cleaning the temple hall is not just sweeping the floor, they are preparing a pure environment for the Lord to reside. The speaker, whoever is giving a speech in the temple, is not just giving a talk, they are churning the nectar for the hearts of the devotees. Even in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, when we talk about the opulences of the Absolute, Krishna himself declares that Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from him. And as we discussed, even in this particular word, Srila Prabhupada quotes 1041. Krishna states that any extraordinary ability we see in this world is but a spark of his splendor. Srila Prabhupada expands that all these are his vibhudis. Divine opulence is meant to remind us of Krishna's supremacy. And at the same time, it's a learning lesson. One should never compare one's skills with others, nor minimize our own. Instead, one can offer whatever we have based on past karma and the resources what we have. One can offer whatever we have. It can be even a small, tiny, but at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And Krishna himself says that in 926, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam, a flower, a leaf, or even a sincere tear of gratitude, everything becomes glorious when offered with bhakti. And again, in this verse, Arjuna also talks about the power which is withdrawn. But what really happens when Krishna's presence is withdrawn? Just like Arjuna, even the most refined skills can become ineffective in the absence of divine grace. No doubt Arjuna was a great warrior, but after Krishna departed, his strength and confidence faded. He realized that his power was not really his own. He shows that humility, he shows that gratitude. It was whatever power he got in the past, it was through Krishna's mercy manifesting through him. So, definitely, our skills, whatever skills each of us might have, shouldn't make us proud. They're meant to be make us grateful, feel grateful. The moment we disconnect from Krishna, even our greatest strengths may fail us. But when we stay connected, those same abilities become powerful tools in His service. And we also need to remember that skill is not a success. It's a success only when Krishna sanctions it. If you see in the modern world, many singers, athletes, artists often lose their edge despite their skill when arrogance or loss of blessings take over. So a learning lesson from this is practice our skills as a seva, not as a self-glory. One might have extraordinary skills, but ultimately use it for the seva, use it in the service of the Lord, not for the self-glory. And the next, talents. Talents are definitely are not tools, Talents are like tools, like not trophies. Srila Prabhupada had a divine talent for writing and explaining scripture. That's when he boarded Jaladuta. It's a journey. All he had was two things: a firm faith in his heart and the holy name on his lips. But he never claimed whatever he did was his own, and he offered it to his Guru Maharaj. I simply repeated what my Guru Maharaj said. Think of any talent or resource you might have. It can be speaking, it can be cooking, it can be organizing, it can be fundraising. Ask, is this for my ego or Krishna's seva? It's like these devices, what we have. It can be an iPhone, it can be a laptop, it can be mobile. How expensive it can be. It's all useless if it is not connected with the power. We are all like devices, but once we are disconnected with the power, we are dead. And talents are gifts, and it is meant to serve a mission, definitely not to boost our ego. The next thing, abilities. Abilities, it can include physical strength, intelligence, memory. And again, even throughout chapter 10, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about uh, all the intelligence, memories, everything through Krishna. Abilities are activated only by Krishna's will. Even in this verse, Arjuna admits that where Deva Vismapanam, like even the power or the abilities, whatever has astonished even the demigods, but when Krishna left, he was not able to perform like some basic tasks. If you see a power, if a fan, it's just like just running when it is connected to the power, and as soon as we unplug it, it might spin for a while, but ultimately at some point of time it is going to stop. Similar to that, one should never become proud of their abilities, because we need to think that all our abilities, they are just activated by Krishna's will. The third and the final thing in this acronym is resources. It can be money through family or inheritance or whatever it is. The time what we have, energy, and the contacts or the associations what we have are meant for seva, definitely not for sense gratification. When Krishna gave Arjuna the chariot, the Gandiva bow, and the divine weapons, they work like wonders. But once Krishna left, they all lost power. And everything is for a mission based. And that we're going to explore more. Even if we see some various examples from Shastra, there are good and bad examples. Like if we see Ravana had unimaginable resources like gold and Lanka, powerful armies, but what he has, like he's having ego. He doesn't have Krishna. But ultimately, the result is destruction. Yudhishthira Maharaj has less wealth but had Krishna. He ruled as Dharmaraja. And resources are meant to serve the yajna as a sacrifice, not to enjoy in isolation, like not for the self glory, not for the bhoga of self. It is for the seva. If we see in this model world, many leaders and celebrities lose everything because they misuse their resources. If we can ask ourselves, is my money, position, or influence serving Krishna or feeding my ego? As I said, resources are meant for seva, not bhoga. With this, we are all stars, but the star glows only when empowered. Just like the stars in the sky, every one of us are unique, placed by Krishna with specific talents and roles. But the source light is blocked, or when the source light is blocked, our shine dims. Now that we explored star, now let's explore the power star. If you can see, the whole verse can be summarized in this word, in this slide, or in this acronym. The Krishna, the power star, the source behind everything. Arjuna's greatest moment was not on the battlefield when he won the battle, but in this verse, when he admits that I had power, but it was never mine, it was Krishna's. If you see, everything, like it can be our skills, talents, abilities, resources, everything was provided by Krishna. All the power is coming from Krishna, definitely not ours. The power belongs to Krishna. But It's like Paramatma's gift for us. And and as we read in the words, it's these powers or the skills is given for a mission, only for the service. Krishna empowered Arjuna for a mission. Like that, Krishna empowers only for a specific mission, and whatever skills, talents, abilities, resources we have, not for the personal gain, it is for the mission to mission to serve, only for his service. And when the mission is accomplished, it will be withdrawn. And definitely, we need to think that whenever it is withdrawn, it is definitely not a loss, because it was given for a purpose. When the mission is accomplished, it will be withdrawn. And Arjuna also teaches us that through his humility, and even in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 8, we talk about the qualities of knowledge. We will start with humility, pridelessness. That's where Arjuna teaches here about the humility and the gratitude what we're supposed to have. Again, like one should never be powered by empowered by ego. She should be empowered by Krishna's energy. But once bhakti power flows through the ego free, Arjuna, despite his greatness, he never claimed credit for it. That's why Krishna empowered him. And the last, remembrance. Remember Krishna always. Remember the source. Remembering Krishna as the source of all our abilities keeps the heart aligned. When we forget Him, irrespective of whatever gifts we might have, ultimately it's going to be, we're going to misuse it. When we remember Him, we can glorify the giver. Krishna is not just the power, it's not just the source of our power, He's the purpose of our power. Moving forward, if we can compare what happens when Krishna is there, what happens when Krishna is absent, the power of the Supreme Person. As, as quoted in as quoted in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, verse number 78, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will certainly be opulence and victory. When Krishna was Arjuna's side, he defeated the undefeatable. I mean, like it can be Bhishma, Drona, Karna. But ultimately, he admits in this verse that his strength was not his own, but it is an empowerment, a divine empowerment by Krishna. Through this, we can understand that when Krishna is present, even an ordinary person becomes extraordinary. When Krishna is absent, absence of real strength, that is absence of real strength. That's where Arjuna confessed that apaharitam tejo, my spiritual strength is gone. He's still holding Gandiva. He being a veteran warrior and having immense experience without Krishna, he felt that powerless and defeated. Again, presence of ego is absence of Krishna. Krishna is present where humility and dependence exist. And again, as we discussed, Ravana had immense power and knowledge, but his ego pushed away Rama. Even in Prahlad pastime, we read about Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was feared across the universe, but his ego brought his fall before Narasimha. When ego fills a room, devotion quietly walks out. And throughout Bhagavad Gita, we have read like Bhagavad Gita starts with the confusion and ends with the clarity. When Arjuna speaks that I'm confused, like that's when he surrenders to Krishna, like, okay, you are my guru. Krishna dispels Arjuna's confusion at the beginning of the Gita. And but in the Bhagavatam, in this particular verse, after Krishna's departure, Arjuna was lost in sorrow and bewilderment. Similar to Arjuna, we may have qualifications, we may have titles, we may have intelligence, but without Krishna's guidance, we get trapped in confusion, pride, and despair. Presence of Krishna is a fulfillment for that mission. When Krishna is absent, it's a total void. Nashta moha smritir labdhatvat prasadam ayuchyate stito. Arjuna says this in Bhagavad Gita, my illusion is now gone. When Krishna is present, he was able to regain his memory through Krishna's mercy. And Gita ends with Arjuna's feeling satisfied, clear, and ready to serve. But in this verse, it's quite contrast from what Arjuna said in Bhagavad Gita 1873. We see a different Arjuna here. He's empty and he's uncertain in Krishna's absence. Similarly, a tall tree might look majestic, but without deep roots, it falls in the storm. Krishna is the root of all strength and steadiness. And if we need to talk about various pastimes of Krishna, there are various devotees who wanted Krishna's presence more than Krishna's gifts. Can any devotee quote such examples where instead of Krishna's gifts, they lean towards Krishna's presence? Does any devotee wants to share some examples or references from scriptures?
So Arjuna and Duryodhan, Arjuna wanted Krishna, Duryodhan wanted the Narayani Sena.
Nice, Prabhu. Thank you. Any others?
Like Kunti Maharani wanted calamities, not gifts,
Yes,
so
Prabhu.
that she could meditate on Krishna to uh, face those calamities. So kind of opposite to gifts.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. I was reading that like 1825. Kunti Maharani prays that I need to get calamities again and again so that I can remember Krishna continuously. And can think of many such examples. Sudama, he didn't ask for anything. All he asked was Krishna's present. And Krishna gave him everything. So Sudama didn't want that, all the gifts, all the material gifts. All Krishna wants, Sudama wanted was Krishna's presence.
I can think of another one.
Yes, Prabhu.
Your speech is exciting me. The pastime of Vamnadev, Indra, and Bali Maharaj. When you look at it, Vamnadev pushed Bali Maharaj into the hellish planets, and he supposedly returned all the opulences of heaven to Indra. But in the end, it was Bali Maharaj who achieved the greatest blessing of the Lord's association. Indradev simply got material wealth. Anyways, I was excited about all the devotees speaking about this. Thank you.
Prabhuji. Thank you very much for sharing. Even the other example or reference which I can think of is Prahlad. Even Prahlad didn't ask for powers or protection. He was son of great king Hiranyakashipu, but all he desired was to serve and be with the Lord. Even if we need to talk about Gajendra, he fought with his own strength and failed, but when he called for Krishna, he was saved. And if we talk about all these great gifts, if we can pray that I don't want power without Krishna, I want Krishna even if I'm powerless. And there are many such examples of empowerment versus withdrawal. Even if we can think of Hanuman, realized his powers only through remembrance. Hanuman forget his powers, but Jambavan reminded him of Lord Rama. Only then Hanuman was able to leap across the ocean. This is a great example that without connection to the Lord, even the greatest can forget their own strength. And there are other bad examples as well. Karna was powerful, when Krishna was not, but Krishna's will turned, his chariot wheel stuck, and then, in comparison of skills, like Karna can be equivalent with Arjuna, but Krishna is not on Krishna is not on Karna's side. But skills are nothing but a divine favor, and it can be withdrawn at any time. Even Indra in the Govardhan pastime, Indra had all resources like clouds, storms, power, but yet Krishna humiliated him to destroy his pride. And this is a clear example that no one is truly powerful again, apart from Krishna's will. And if we need to take a modern example of divine empowerment, who can we think of? Like Srila Prabhupada, when he was boarding Jaladuta, he's not having money, he's not having any kind of backing, no contacts. But Krishna empowered him to establish a global movement which is across the globe. Like, I mean, everywhere you see any country, there are centers everywhere. Like Arjuna, Prabhupada's power was for Krishna's mission and not his own gain. And Prabhupada always said, all this credit goes to my Guru Maharaj and Krishna. I'm a simply an instrument, nimitta matram. And from Srila Prabhupada is a greatest example that true empowerment doesn't inflate the ego, but it increases the gratitude for whatever abilities, whatever strength we have. It is like offering it to Krishna. It is like expressing our humility and never taking that pride. Final reflections. If we can think of, do I want success in life or Krishna's presence in my life? This sets the foundation on what is our ultimate goal. Am I longing for power or for the power giver? If we can think of this question, this deepens the inquiry within ourselves. Are we attached to the power or the power giver? Irrespective of whatever power I have, but ultimately that power is through that power giver. Am I trying to shine on my own? Who am I like to shine on my own? It should be empowered by someone. That someone is nothing but Lord Krishna. Like I mean, no star is shining on its own. Every star is connected to Krishna. And if we can think about one self check, if Krishna took away my star power, would I still love him? That is the self check on the purity of pure devotion. From if we can see various examples from Shastra, even from the recent examples from, if you see Shad Goswamis or anyone, this is this I mean the amount of inspiration what we can get from the Shastra and the sadhus. Even if we can think of Bhakti Vinod Thakura, he was a judge, he was an author, he was a kirtanier, he was a preacher. The number of songs he has written, all by Krishna's empowerment. He once prayed that whatever you have given, I return to you in love. If I need to conclude, let every moment become a service. Always remember Vishnu and never forget him. And, and let every talent become an offering. Whatever we are, we should offer it in Krishna's path. Be it art, speaking, cooking, teaching, or dancing, and every thought become of remembrance. And Krishna himself says that in Bhagavad Gita 1865, Man manam bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer my homage unto me. With this, let us let each of us be a star, not for the world stage, but for Krishna's pleasure. So as I would like to conclude with this, let us be a star for the power star. Hare Krishna. I would like to request devotees to share their realizations and any additions, corrections, or expansions on this. And please forgive me if I made any mistakes. That is due to my ignorance. And this is a little seva from with my little intelligence what Krishna has given. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for speaking on this wonderful verse. I know you meditated on it for a long time and prepared so nicely, explored the verse in many aspects. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Prabhu.
I hope you derive great pleasure from contemplating this verse and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. Let's open up the floor for other devotees to ask questions or comments, reflections. Thank you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. It is wonderful class. and you narrated very well about Krishna's power. Through Krishna power only human is living, and he is the cause of for everything. He created uh, good and bad also, but we have to take good only. Krishna will see behind of us. He will narrate, he will guide us what we have to do and what we have to not do. And everybody is like that. But human is recognizing very late. Some people are, uh, even though Krishna is Krishna, in everywhere Krishna is there. Our hearts are full of hearts, fulfilled, and we have to go that way. This is my study of Krishna. What is Krishna? We have to see in everybody Krishna. It is very wonderful to. We will.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you for sharing your realizations. Does any devotees have anything to share or any corrections?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice presentation. I really like your acronyms.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And
Yes, something, Prabhu.
if you can keep sort of sharing with us these kind of thoughts on acronyms, like very nice way to meditate and contemplate. So whether you make the acronym first and then come up with the expansion, or you have the expansion and you rearrange it and fits into an acronym, either way it's wonderful meditation.
Thank you very much.
I think the important part is the meditation on it, and that's what I feel comes out in this. And yes, preparing for it is more joy than, at least that's what my experience is. And I can see that preparation, a lot of preparation has gone in, and I can see that has given so much joy and happiness. And that's the source of joy and happiness for devotees. Thank you for exemplifying that.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It's, as you said, like it depends, Prabhu. It's both ways. Like I kind of do mind mapping. I'll not be able to remember a lot. So if I can break it down into acronyms, it's easy for me to contemplate and remember.
Yeah, using various talents in service of Krishna.
Yes.
So that's okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, I can.
Yes, Prabhu. What a wonderful start, Prabhu. Hari Bol, very nice. As
Thank
Paramakaran Prabhu stated, I really love the way you came up with an acronym, and it's very powerful that way because it helps you remember, when you have an acronym and connect very easily. And as Prabhu said, we saw how much you relished, giving the class and how much joy it gave you, as much as it gave us listening to the class. Thank you so much again, Prabhu, and please, keep doing this wonderful service. I know it's a selfish thought, but I really enjoyed it, and it's a very powerful thing. Thank you so much again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. And again, in this verse, when I was contemplating, as Prabhu said, like there is definitely a joy and like a lot of learning lessons or takeaways when I was reading, because whatever we have, right, it can be, I mean, every one of us are gifted with some or other thing. It can be, if you see, right, like in temple, if you go, again, I keep repeating that 10 different devotees will be doing 10 different services, because each of them are gifted with specific talents. And like this words help me to contemplate, okay, whatever we have, right, I mean, again, even if we have a little bit of ego, it brings us down. Like remembering, reading these words again and again, okay, whatever you have in respect to like bringing down our pride, egos, and making sure that we are humble, staying humble, humility, and expressing that gratitude towards how we got this. And in fact, like I'm grateful for the association of all the great devotees which I had, and like ultimately everything we got through Krishna and Srila Prabhupada and Guru.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for deeply exploring the nature of the borrowed abilities and the how futile they are when without proper engagement. It is very evident that you are putting the verse into practice. It is very evident that you are putting all the ability, the way you came up with the acronyms and presented it in the service, in this Bhagavatam service. It is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. And you quoted it rightly. All these are borrowed abilities. And recently, when Hari Parshad Prabhu came, right, like Krishna is not our field laborer. In fact, like we are the field laborer. When we are in the field, we are given some tools and to perform that particular mission. Once the mission is accomplished, all the tools will be withdrawn. And this verse is such example. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing wonderful, beautiful realizations, Prabhu, especially echoing the statements of Param Karna Prabhu and later. With the acronyms, I cannot remember Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He creates acronyms beautifully, apt. Thank you so much for sharing. So, yeah, wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry if I'm like bringing in too many acronyms. Like, sorry.
No, Prabhu, absolutely not. It helps acronym kind of way of learning. Like, so, no, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. For 5 more minutes, does anyone have any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Uh, Wonderful, wonderful class, Prabhuji. Very inspiring. Like many devotees shared. I was really looking for this acronym style of takeaway. Which it sticks after the class. You clearly remember what is the takeaway, and you beautifully explained how behind all the power, all the abilities that we borrow, it's ultimately we have to express the gratitude, and that's the right approach to grow in our spirituality. So very beautiful class. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. And you inspired me to take this service or accept this service, Prabhu. Though I don't have any knowledge, you inspired me to get into this service. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. It's nice to see all the devotees online. It's very joyous. Okay, I think should we go ahead and conclude?
Yes.
There's some chat message. Vijay Mataji said, wonderful class, Prabhu. Great to remain the acronyms and meditate more. So, okay. Vancha kalpa trigasha kalpa sandhavi vacha titanam pavanabhya vashmya namo namah. Please join us for our Sunday feast starting at 11:30. Hare Krishna.
I think Balathai Prabhu was going to say something.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Balathai Prabhu. Sorry, I didn't see it. Please go ahead.
Guruji, thanks. I like this class. It's very inspiring. Could you repeat the acronym, what the points were again, please?
Yes, sure, Prabhu. Just give me a second, Prabhu. There are two acronyms, Prabhu. One is like our talents, our skills, abilities. Let me bring up my screen. The star and the power star. Skills, talents, abilities, resources, whatever is we have, it's through the power star. All the powers are given by Krishna or provided for the mission. And once the mission is done, I mean, like basically only for the mission. And once that it is done, it's Krishna's will to withdraw when done. And we need to express our humility and gratitude and remember the Krishna, remember the source who has given all these abilities. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
And you showed that last slide about the questions we need to ask ourselves. I thought that was very nice as well.
Sure, Prabhu.
I'm not sure it was the very last one, but
Yeah.
you know
Introspection.
which one. Yes. Yeah. You can read it.
Yeah. Introspection to devotion. When I was reading this verse, and ultimately the key takeaway: do I want success in life or Krishna's presence in life? Like, whatever material abilities we have, are we using it for the right purpose? Am I longing for power or for the power giver? Am I trying to shine on my own or shine as a star connected to Krishna? If the last and the final one, which is a checklist, even if Krishna took away my star power, would I still love him?
That's very nice.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, I think we can go ahead. I see so many devotees here who can be engaged in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Sunday Feast class. So, please feel inspired and let me know if you want to participate. The more, the merrier. Okay, Hare Krishna. Bye-bye.
Thank you, devotees, for joining. Thank you for giving your blessings and wishes. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hey, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.